Namaste and welcome to the course of Design of Machine Elements 1. In our previous session, a discussion has been made on if at all a pulley has been loaded at the mid of a shaft, then how to design the whole element. So it's I feel like the previous video would have supplemented you with a lot of enjoyment in designing the shaft. In a similar way, in the today case, I will be presuming or assuming a gear at the mid of a shaft and then how to design it, right? Done? Ready with this thing? Okay then, shall we start up with designing of a shaft when a gear is loaded at the middle of the section. So for which I will be considering this particular example where it says a section of steel shaft of 2 meter long supported between the bearings run at 1000 rpm carries 20-degree involute spur gear. You can note this 20-degree involute spur gear of pitch diameter 200 mm at its midpoint. As you can see over here, the shaft and the gear is loaded at the midpoint. The gear delivers 20 kilowatt power to its mating gear located directly above the shaft. If the shaft material selected as an allowable shear stress of 40 MPa, determine the diameter of shaft. Very important to know, assuming the loads are steady. I do said that this word, assuming the loads are steady, are quite important to choose what should be the CM and CT. Now I'll try to understand the side view of this, if at all the gear and where the power has been supplied. I've been coming up with the conventional sketch where the reference would be this, and from which we will try to solve the case, where all the way you need to find the diameter of the shaft, design the diameter of the shaft or design the shaft. So where all the shaft length 2 meter long as given, and at the midpoint, since the gear is at a midpoint, it's 1 meter apart, and then it's a spur gear, and the side view of this is what you can see over here. Then this is a gear which we need to design, and let's see the condition like it has been as you said that the gear delivers 20 kilowatt power at its mating gear located directly above the shaft. The sense of this has been delivering a power to this gear which is been directly mounted above it. So now let's see if it rotates in a clockwise direction, presuming that, as I said in a previous video where we have been discussed about the forces on the shaft if the gear or the pulley has been considered. So as I said that if at all I am going to design a gear which transmit a power to another one, there the tangential force is opposite to the direction. As you can see over here, the direction is here is of clockwise and the Ft is opposite to that, and Fr is towards the shaft. Now this is a side view of this. Now this is a basic consideration before designing the shaft if the case is given such. So now let's take this as a point A and that as in a point B and the midpoint as in a point C. So this is a reference for me in order to design it. Now let us sort out the givens, what all we had. So one is N is given 1000 rpm, speed, S alpha 20-degree of involute, as I said that in the previous case I said that 20-degree involute, and pitch diameter, pitch circle diameter PD, where I could say is 200 mm, and then power is given 20 kilowatt. Kindly note this 20 kilowatt is very important. Here the power is given in terms of kilowatt. Then tau d is equal to 40 MPa, and those loads are quite steady, it's again given, and to find is the diameter small d of the shaft. So now the solution, as I said that I will be using a data handbook of 3rd edition written by Madhavan Balvi Reddy all the way into solve all the cases around this design of machine elements chapter, I mean section or a session. So by that I will be choosing up this maximum shear stress theory where it comes with the page number 43, and I am going to select an equation 3.6b where the equation is this. D naught is equal to 16 by tau max, so CM square plus CT whole square into 1 by 1 minus K4 to the power of 1 by 4. So in this since we have been dealing with a solid shaft, so for me the K would be 0. So as I will be putting up the equation from the data handbook, I noted up all the formula over here. Since the K is equal to 0 for solid shaft, I can reform that formula in this way. So this is how the formula has been reformed it. Now in order to find the first element, what is the torque? So I am going to come up with a page number 42, the equation 3.3a, where it says T is equal to 9.65 10 to the power of 6 into P divided by N. Kindly note that one very important point, or you need to note this point very importantly, that here you need to substitute the P in terms of kilowatt. So that's a given. This formula has been modified such that their P need to be substituted in terms of kilowatt. So therefore, I'm going to pull up that equation and I'm going to draw it over here. Now substituting the value of P into it, which is given again. So when I substitute this, the whatever the torque that I get, it would be 191,000 Newton mm. So now its next important point is to find out what are the bending moments we do have, what are the vertical forces and what are the horizontal forces. So for which I will be considering again the arrangement here. You know that I do have one horizontal force, I call it as an Ft, and one vertical force, I call it as Fr. So therefore, in order to find the vertical and horizontal force at gear C, I call this a gear C because the gear has been mounted at point C. So for which the horizontal force would be at tangential force, which is Ft as I said earlier, and that Ft would be equation is this. So from in a page number 165, equation 12.22, this is where the equation we do have. Now substituting all the values what you had, and Mt is a torque what you have been found in an earlier slide. So when you substitute everything into this, so the Ft value what I got is 1910 Newton. In a similar way, if at all the direction would be, as you could see here, the same direction I had mentioned even at this point. So now, in order to find what is a vertical force, as you could see here, the vertical force in this section would be a radial force, Then I will be presuming the same vertical force, and from the same page number with a equation of this 12.23, where the equation says Fr is equal to Ft into tan alpha. So now substituting the value of Ft into this, and the alpha is equal to 20 degree. Now substituting all the values in through, then whatever the value that I get, the vertical force is 695.1831 Newton, and the direction is downwards. So as you could see over here, the direction is downwards. So that's what I have been mentioned over here even. So now further, in order to find what are the vertical bending momentum like we do have, so the momentums that we could sketch it as the bending momentum in the vertical forces. Now the only one vertical forces would you have, in earlier section we have been derived that would be 694.1831 Newton. So this is of 1 meter apart, as the whole shaft is of 2 meter. So I sketch over here. Then one point A and point B at the mid, it would be point C. Now I will be considering a reaction force at a point as an Ra at point A, and at point B the reaction force would be Rb. Now we know that since it's a symmetry, Ra is equal to Rb, then half of that would be the load which has been shared by both the reaction forces, that would be 374.591 Newton. So now I will be drawing a reference lines through it, vertical lines, in order to draw a bending momentum diagram. So I draw again one more a line which is of a 2 meters in length, and now the bending momentum at A would be surely at this point. You can see thus all the forces that turn towards this clockwise are consider it as a positive, and anti-clockwise as a negative. So since here it would be 695.183 into distance would be 1 meter. That's what been said over here. And another one would be from there Rb into 2. Then since the Rb is a 347.591, I will be substituting the value over there. Then again into 2 is what I have been mentioned over here. So the value would be 0. That's what I have been mentioning up over here, 0. Then next the bending momentum at B would be similar, it also be 0. Now bending momentum at C, what would be the bending momentum at C? That's very important. Now try to understand this, and then you could consider a right side of it or a left side of it. So I am going to here consider the right side of it. So as this moves clockwise, so therefore Ra which is we have been derived over here, Ra into distance would be this, and that would be a maximum bending momentum at that particular section. So that would be 374.591. Now I am going to mark it over here, and I join these lines and shade it up. This would be the maximum bending moment, vertical maximum bending moment. Now in a similar way, we are going to derive it. What would be then horizontal bending moment? So it's as quite as it is. We do follow the same instructions what have been given to earlier to us. So only one horizontal force we do have, that is 1910 Newton, and that is then again a 1 meter apart, since the whole shaft is of 2 meter long. Now that would be, as you could see here, this point as an A, and another point would be B, and this point would be C. Now you know the reaction forces Ra and again Rb at point and B respectively. In a similar way, since it's a symmetry, R is equal to Rb, off of that would be 955 Newton. And again I could draw a references line, a vertical line, and I would have another line which is of 2 meter length in order to do a bending moment diagram. So now we know that the bending momentum at point A Again, I said that all clockwise directions are plus and all anti-clockwise directions are minus. In this case, 1191 into 1 minus of this, since it's an anti-clockwise direction towards this point A. So it would be RB into 2. So RB is, you know very well that 955. So 955 into 2. So therefore at that point it would be 0, and I'm going to mark 0 over there. In a similar way, at the point B, it would be again a 0. You can calculate and check it down. So I'm going to mark it once more again over there, 0. Now again at a point C, for us, either you consider the right side of that element or left side of it. So I'm going to consider the right side of it, which has been RA into 1 meter. So it will be 955 into 1. So it will be 955 Newton meter. Then I'm going to mark it over there. Then all join those lines and shield it up. This is a maximum bending moment, horizontal bending moment. Now in order to find out what would be the resultant bending momentum at C, so this is the way I can consider. M is equal to mv square plus ms square. Mv square represents with vertical and ms represents horizontal. Now substituting those values, the maximum bending moment what I got is 1016.2895 into 10 to the power of Newton mm. Now in order to find the diameter, so again from the table 3.1, if you could remember my word saying initially the loads are steady. So I would consider that word and find out what would be the Cm and Ct, whereas this is where you can find out the combined factor for bending and torsion, a momentum or a torsion. From the table, since the loads are steady, for me Cm and Ct would be 1.5 and 1. So I will be taking up the same values from this table, and I will be considering Cm as 1.5 and Ct as 1. Now substituting all the values what you found out till now, it would be T, M, Cm, Ct in equation 3.6b of 4.3. If you could remember the earlier equation what we have said where the k is equal to 0. Now substituting all this in this particular equation, the diameter what we get is 58.049 mm. So you are quite clear now. If at all the pulley would be at the mid of a shaft, how to design, and if a gear at the mid of a shaft, how to design the whole shaft. So in next video, we will be learning if I had 2 pulleys over a shaft, how to design the shaft. Thank you.